What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Horror Hangout podcast. This is separate from Shopcast. This is something that I do with a different guest as often as possible. My boy Chris, who does Shopcast with Josh and I every week, is hanging out with me tonight. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, Chris. I appreciate your time, my guy.
No problem.
Per usual, we hang out at least sometimes on Zoom every week, but we took a little bit of time off Shopcast for the month of October so I can pump out a little extra horror movie content. So we'll be back in November with Shopcast. But tonight's movie is one of the more interesting remakes, in my opinion. We're doing, I think they called it just Evil Dead 2013.
I think so.
I didn't realize until I was rewatching it for like the second time for this show last night that they actually called it Evil Dead and not The Evil Dead. And I was like, oh, that's how they got away with that. Because it's like, you can't call it like the same exact name, man. Like that would just make no sense. But anyways, we're going to talk about that movie. This may be a 30-40 minute video, so get comfortable and let's talk. So
yeah,
this is one that we had kind of agreed on a little while back to watch. Took us a little while to get here, but I've actually watched it 2.5 times since we decided to do the video, and I'm glad I did. There's a lot about this movie that I never really I just didn't think about it. It wasn't that I thought it was good or bad or anything. I just never really considered it.
Yeah, I also watched it twice.
Yeah, it's a remake of the first movie, but it's got that modern horror look, feel, and aesthetic to it. And I think that could have gone... Honestly, I think they walked the line pretty well of should they have done it or shouldn't they have done it, and good or bad. I think they walked the line really well because there's a lot of stuff that they did in this movie that is a direct homage to Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
It's a nod straight to him.
Yeah, I think they changed enough and also kept enough in it that it works really well, I think, as a remake.
So there's two things I want to talk about like right now before I forget about them, and then we can talk about the whole entire plot of the movie. Yep. The two things are this: one's a positive, one's a negative. One is negative. I'll say negative first so I can get it over with. I hate the fact that there was CG in this movie. I hate it. It pissed me off because out of all the movies that you make, you don't remake Evil Dead and use CG, man. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. Yeah. It's unacceptable. But as annoying as that was, I was relieved to a degree that I rarely get with movies that they didn't have somebody named Ash in this movie. Because, dude, you couldn't do that. I don't care who you got to play the part. You couldn't make a guy come in and even try to hold a light up to what Bruce Campbell did, because he got lucky when he did what he did as much as he did it with talent. Yeah. It was a combination of the both. It was a very magical moment in cinema, and I was just really glad that they didn't try. That was probably a conscious decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I would think so. Like I thought about the Thing remake that we watched not too long ago.
Yeah,
and it could have gone.
That was like a prequel, though.
Yeah, but the plot is so similar to the original.
That's true.
That I mean, I guess it's not technically a remake, but it's damn close, I think. And that was kind of why I didn't enjoy that one. Also, the CG, like they completely ruined that movie with terrible CG. And I think this actually did a good combination of practical and CG, and it was
that's
well
so funny
because
I thought the Thing prequel was awesome. Like I love it. I watch it all the time.
Really?
If I ever watch the first one, I watch them together. I don't even watch them separate anymore.
Yeah, like I don't think it's that bad, but
I think it suffers from being associated with the Thing. Like let's get it straight. I do think that that's a bad thing for it, which is exactly what I was going to get into with the Evil Dead movie. I think that it has to go with the Thing in order to be made. So since it has to be, okay, that's out of the equation now. I can't really put that in. That can't be involved with it. So okay, now whenever that movie was made, it was made at a time where they were going to use CG. Do I wish they hadn't? Of course I do. But do I still think the movie overall was really great? I think it was awesome. I think everything. I think it answered all the questions. It put a lot of cool stuff in it, and a lot of like throwback stuff. And I think that movie is way better of a pair with The Thing than this movie is with Evil Dead, for sure. Like by a mile.
Interesting.
But that's a very subjective statement. Like I wouldn't fault anybody for disagreeing with that. I wouldn't want to necessarily argue with somebody over it, but I wouldn't be, what? You don't agree? No, dude, I get it. I definitely get why that movie, like with Josh, as much as I don't agree with what he says about it, I understand why he says what he says about it. So I don't see any need to like try to argue with him about it, because I get why he says what he says about it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag and just get it out of the way. That
why's your cat in a bag, Chris?
Well, it's right there on the table. But I like this more than the originals. I mean, there's no way in hell this movie would exist without those original two movies. I mean, I'll say even the second movie, but just as far as enjoyment, like if you ask me which one I want to watch, I'm gonna pick this one. I find this one more fun. It's brutal. It's bloody. And I did rewatch the first two after the first time I watched this one like a week ago, just so I knew for sure that I could make that statement and back it up a little bit.
So I get hasty when I make those statements, because I've said it recently about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then upon rewatching them, I was like, ooh, no, I was wrong. With this one, I find it the exact opposite the way I feel about The Thing. If it was called anything but The Evil Dead, I would say you're probably right. I like it better than the originals. But the fact that they went and they put that name on it, you don't get to. That right there makes it. You don't have to ask. Which one do I like better? Evil Dead 2, for sure. Yeah. But this is a better made movie. I just don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But man, at that time, like they're so low budget. Even the second one. Like, I hate to kind of compare budgets because it's completely
No, we're just comparing like what's what, and you can have a movie. I mean, what movie were we talking about recently? It was made on like $50,000, dude. That's like a fantastic movie, like the whole way through.
The one,
I know, right?
The Headhunter.
Yeah. So I mean, budget doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad movie, but like my thing is that The Evil Dead has a certain magicalness to it, and it's not gore, it's not lore, it's Bruce Campbell mixed with all of that. I don't feel like you get The Evil Dead without Bruce Campbell, and since they didn't have that character in the movie, while I did appreciate them not screwing that all up, it did make the movie not as good for me. Like I mean, just the movie was awesome. Like the movie, like now judging the movie on its own and not associating with the Evil Dead series, I think that's where I lean into it. I go, look, I'm gonna take it out of the Evil Dead stuff and not even ask which one would you rather watch, because I don't have an answer for that makes any sense really, because this one's a better movie. But I can't say I'd rather watch it more than Evil Dead 2, because that's not true. I'd rather watch Psycho Goreman than this movie. I'd rather watch Manborg than this movie. All those B movies that I like, I genuinely like them, and I would rather watch them than any kind of well-made movie. I mean, just look at what we're talking about before we started recording. Like any movie like that, I would pick over like 95% of A24 movies. Now they do have plenty of movies that I like, but like out of them, if they come out with 10 in a row, I'm probably only going to like one of them, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Like, especially now that I kind of understand what they put out and I understand what their studio is trying to do, I'm okay with that. I get it. I still want to watch most of them, even if I'm not going to like them. I think that's where I'm a little different than a lot of people that I associate with in this world of like making review videos and talking about movies. I don't care if I think I'm going to like a movie or not. I usually try to watch it anyways, just so I can review it. because I thought that's what we were doing. Don't we watch movies and review them? Like, do I watch a song and say, oh, I knew I was going to like that? No, I don't. I listen to it for the first time, or I watch it for the first time, and then I talk about it. And I'm allowed to change my opinion. And that's where a lot of things get really sticky for people, is they say, well, no, you put in a video that you didn't like this. Okay, since then, it's also been 6 months. I've had this many things happen in my life in the last 6 months. I've also watched the movie 2 more times. I've talked about it with my friends, and I could either go from liking a movie to not liking it, or not liking one to liking it. I think Titane's a good example of that. I can't figure out what the hell I think about that movie yet. I need to rewatch that one. But with The Green Knight, I'm pretty certain at this point that I'm not going to rewatch it because I don't think I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
Was it well made? I think it was exceptionally well made. That's not how I judge my movies, whether or not I like them. So how well a movie's made has almost nothing to do with how much I like it. As a matter of fact, it's almost a detriment to the movie if it's made really well. I'm like, yeah, but it was super pretentious. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And that's my idiocy coming out of me. Like
yeah. I mean, and I say I like it more, but I love the first two movies. And I actually I actually like the first movie a little more than the second movie.
I think I do too.
I thought you just said you liked the second one.
No. I'm judging. Just you talking about Evil Dead, right?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I flip a coin, dude. They're the same damn movie to me, man. Did I say that a minute ago? I don't know that I meant to say that I like the second one more than the first one. Shit, dude. It's been a long time. I need to rewatch them both again.
I mean, I would think, just knowing you, I would say you would probably like the second one more.
Yeah.
Like the first one is more serious.
Which one has the tree scene is in the first one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I do like the second one better.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's pretty close though. it's pretty close regardless.
Yeah,
I think I go with the second one better.
Yeah, they're both great. I mean, I'm not here to talk bad about either one of them. They're awesome.
No, I flip flop on those movies a lot.
Yeah, but I got them on fresh eyes, so I at least wanted to.
Yeah, I wish I had thought to watch the other ones again, like just the whole series. I don't know, man. Okay, let's talk about let's talk about Evil Dead, because there's, regardless of what I think about it compared to the original ones, I really don't even want to put them in the same category, to be honest, because I feel like it does a disservice to a movie that is really good. Yeah. Because this movie is really good. Like, I want to get that straight. I don't have much negative to say about the movie, other than when you start comparing it to two movies I really care about. You know, it's you know, if they were to, like, in 15 years, if they ever remake something like Terrifier, I'm probably gonna hate it. Like, even if it's a fantastic movie. So, yeah, man. Well, you wrote down probably a lot more notes than I did. So let's start with what you've got written down. Let's talk about the plot of the movie, and then I'll interject where I need to.
Okay. Yeah. And the movie opens up with a girl running through a very foggy forest and getting chased by at least one person at first, and then a few other people show up, and they catch her and tie her to a post in a basement, and it's her dad with some other weird, creepy looking people. And as he's about to light her on fire, she, like, the demon comes out and starts telling him all kinds of crazy shit, and lights her on fire.
So this is where immediately I'm like, okay, I wish this wasn't called The Evil Dead, because it's not like it's only Evil Dead in spirit and in name. It's not really Evil Dead in like context, because like it's got a book, it's got a cabin, it's got some woods. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not the same movie even at all. It pays homage to a lot of things, but like it's not. It feels to me like a completely different movie.
Yeah, I would call it more an homage to Evil Dead than like a remake.
That's a good way to put it.
It's different enough that it's original, but yeah, I mean, still, it takes almost all its beats from the originals.
I remember getting a lot of hate when it first came out.
Because you liked it?
No, the movie getting a lot of hate, not me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I don't think it was particularly, like, I don't think it got bad reviews, but I don't remember it being, particularly one way or another.
No, I'm talking about more or less within the community. I remember people just didn't like it. I think they were expecting it to be a much closer resemblance, and I think that's where I really kind of appreciate it. Because once that girl gets set on fire in the basement, she doesn't really get like burned, right?
Not really. Or
she becomes like a demon, sort of, and then it kind of just cuts to the next.
Yeah, they don't really show it.
So they didn't really show it. So then it comes to, like, I guess, present day, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, they're riding the car through the woods.
Yeah,
pretty much headed to the cabin.
You get to meet the motley crew of, victims, I guess you could say. You got the, like, pretentious, scholastic weed head guy with the glasses. You got the handsome hero-looking dude, which ends up being the brother of a girl that's already there.
Right.
I do like that spin on it that they did. They get to the cabin and it's like 4 people in a car, and then one person's already there. And the person that's already there ends up being the sister of one of the people, and that's like the catalyst to how they get to the cabin, is that they're going down there to help her, like, detox.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool, man, because that wouldn't have been a story in the 80s. That would have been, that's something for now, and I like that. It makes the movie, it gives it its own little, I don't know, it's an important subject in the first place. I mean, that's something that we have to really look at these days. So they're going to be there.
So I was just saying, it modernizes it a little bit.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Modernizes it. And so, how do they come across the Necronomicon in this one? I can't remember.
So they have like a little thing where the brother gives her a necklace, and they throw her, I mean, I'm assuming it's heroin, down the well or whatever it was.
That's right.
And they go pretty much inside the cabin, and it happens really, really quick.
Yeah,
I think she's already starts to have like some withdrawal symptoms, and starts complaining of something smells. So they they pull up the rug and they find the hatch underneath the cabin.
That's right.
And they find the butt.
And then, so they all kind of take the book very much not seriously.
Yeah, I mean, nerd guy like immediately takes it, and it's like covered in like black, like a garbage bag almost or something, and then like barbed wire covered around that.
Yeah, because they don't want anybody opening it. And then he's the only one that's really taking it very seriously. He's like, "Yo, this is legit," and everybody else is concerned with, like, what's that girl's name? Mia. Yeah, they're all concerned with Mia and her health, because she's doing kind of bad. And, I think when they're dealing with her is when old buddy decides to start, like, reading verses from this book.
Yeah.
And starts, like, I guess, setting in motion these absolutely horrific circumstances.
He immediately pops it open and starts reading it. And she's like outside pacing because she's, withdrawing already. Yeah. And just like throws up like as he finishes reading the words. And that's kind of that same shot from the originals where when they read them, it comes through the forest.
Yeah.
Like into her kind of.
And she like pukes up like that oil looking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yes. So they take her inside, and she's immediately like freaking out. And she tries to leave. So
that's right. Yeah, she wants to get out of there. They think that she wants to go get high. I mean, she might have even said she did, but what she's really trying to do is she's trying to get away from this spirit thing that she doesn't really understand is in her, and she doesn't understand that what she's really trying to do is run away from this this spirit, the evil entity.
Yep. So she sees the demon like standing in the middle of the road, and like runs the car into like a bog or swamp or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot she got into the car and took off, and then like tries to go around this person thing and goes into the bog, gets back to the cabin. Now they're kind of stranded out there.
Well, that's when she gets caught in the tree, and
that
like
tree
the demon comes up. Yeah, it shoots out this weird like rooty hair It looks like when you pull out a freaking drain or something like
Oh,
that.
so gross. So gross.
And then, yeah, they find her and bring her back to the cabin.
Yeah, the tree scene was pretty tough in this one, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of like brutal scenes in this one. That's kind of what I like about it.
No, I mean, yes, that's what I like about it. But yeah, I mean, the movie's really good. I truly like this movie a lot. I just hate that it's called Evil Dead. It's kind of like they had another one recently that I said the same thing about. I said if it was called something else, it'd be a much better movie. I don't remember what I'm talking about, but
Candyman, maybe.
Oh, dude, that for sure would have been a better movie if it wasn't called Candyman.
Yeah, still haven't seen it.
Dude, it's decent enough, man. I think. Well, I mean, look, dude, is it great? No, but is it worth watching? I think it is. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but
I'll check it out.
So they get back to the house, and now they're stranded there. And
yeah,
I think at this point, things are already heading in a bad direction. It's kind of already set in motion. There's no going back. There's no hiding it. Now you start to see people get effed up pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think this is when the old buddy goes into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, like and she like, or the brother finds that Mia like bashed the dog with a hammer and is like dying in their shed, and he goes inside and she's like burning herself in the shower.
That's right. I missed a whole spot in my head, but I was going to the next scene.
Yeah,
because the other girl, he finds the other girl in the bathroom. Like, they get her downstairs in the basement.
Yeah,
and then they're trying to figure out what's going on. I think the guy with the long hair is starting to understand. Uh-oh, I did this. At this point, he's not really telling anybody yet, right?
I think he's no. I don't think he is yet.
Yeah, because no. Yeah, because he's not. Because what happens is like, I don't remember what happens in between that and what I'm fixing to tell you. So feel free to fill me in.
I think it's pretty much after this next scene, like there's like Mia like pukes out blood stuff after a fight on like the nurse chick, and then the nurse chick gets possessed. And
that's where I was thinking of right now, is that she goes in the bathroom, and then the long-haired fella and the brown-haired guy start talking about something, and then he goes into the bathroom to check on that girl.
Yes.
And she's like cutting her face off.
Yes.
And like really like cutting her face off, like
yes,
cutting chunks out of it. And old buddy steps on a piece of her cheek and slips and falls and smacks his head on the toilet. Bro, that was pretty rough, man. When she grabs that syringe and starts stabbing him through his glasses, I was like, yo.
Yeah.
And then he pulls the needle out of his eye. I was like, yo, this is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's another one of those awesome, brutal scenes.
Dude, all they have to do in a movie is take out a razor blade and start making it super obvious they're going to cut somebody with it, and my stomach already starts to churn. I'm like, oh, razor blades, for whatever reason, the noise they make when they associate it with a cut, it's just the most gnarly looking stuff. And they show the skin split open. I'm like, oh,
yeah. Yeah, and the next scene pretty much too, because Mia's in the basement and she like lures the brother's girlfriend down in the basement.
Dude, when she steps on that step and it does like the creak thing, I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Can you be more obvious than that?
Yeah. So she grabs a razor blade and cuts her tongue.
Dude.
Like, splits her tongue and like kisses and says a bunch of weird shit to
man. Dude, the
girlfriend.
splitting of the tongue thing was fucking gross.
Yeah, that was another good one.
Yeah, this movie had a lot of really good gore, a lot of good brutal gore. I will say that as far as like, excuse me, I'm sorry. As far as like gore is concerned, I think this movie is one of the goriest movies that I've seen. Like, I've seen some stuff that's just brutal for the sake of being brutal, and that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about actual gore. This movie had like some really tough stuff to watch, man.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think made us originally do this. Was what did we watch? Oh, we watched Dead Alive, which at that time was like the bloodiest movie ever.
Oh yeah, and you told us that you had heard that this movie had the most blood in it from any other movie.
Yeah, so apparently when this came out, this beat Dead Alive for just like most volume of blood used on the, I guess just used on the set. I mean, I don't know if it all comes through in the movie.
No, there's a lot of blood in this movie,
Yeah.
dude. At one point, there's blood like literally on everybody. Like everybody's covered in it. It's all over the floor.
Yeah, it literally rains it at the end.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, bro. Okay, so why don't you tell us? I'm taking my meds real quick. Why don't you tell us what happens from the point of the dude falling on the shower in the bathroom? Excuse me, in the bathroom, and hitting his head on the toilet. She stabs him in the face with the syringe. How does he get her off of him again?
He beats her with like the piece of the toilet that fell off.
Toilet lid thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and he like beats her like to death, doesn't he? Like breaks her head open.
If she wasn't possessed, yeah, I'm sure she would.
Yeah, he like beats her to that point though, but her head's like opened up on the floor. She's laying down, and it looks all Saw-ish with her head's open and her brain showing right.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
So after that, when I talked about the girlfriend getting attacked by Mia in the basement.
Yeah.
So the girlfriend's now possessed, and they find her in the kitchen, like her hands doing the like homage to Evil Dead, like possessed hand thing. So she grabs
the Super Bowl shuffle.
So she grabs that like electric slicer knife.
Oh yeah.
And slices her arm off.
Yeah. I like whenever it's hanging.
Yeah,
like,
and it just plops. It just plops on the ground.
You know what? I may have to retract my statement on the CG in this movie because you're right. They did blend it really well.
They did. I mean, it's obvious that they had to CG some of the stuff, but it's also obvious that they used a lot of practical effects on it.
Yeah.
And I think it's done probably about as best as you can do the combination.
Yeah. I might even have to do a whole video on that of like just how good are the practical and I mean how good is the CGI in this movie, because it does warrant some attention, because the more I'm thinking about it, the more, because I did write that down on my notes while I initially was looking at it as strictly a negative. The quality of the CG in this movie, since they were sparing with it, they didn't go overboard and just make every scene in the movie full of CGI. My fat ass stomach just keeps pulling my shirt up.
I can relate.
They didn't make every scene just chock full of CGI, because it does take a little dedication and a little bit of what would you call it, man? Something. It takes something to go and go, okay, look, we have an opportunity to just knock this out with CGI. But if we blend CG with practical effects, it's going to look real. Yeah. People won't be able to tell, because there's a few scenes that I'm really not sure how they did it.
Yeah, same here. I would definitely like to know a little bit more. There might be a documentary on the Blu-ray that I might have to
probably
go check out. Yeah. So after she cuts her arm off, she grabs a nail gun and starts shooting them in the face and all over the place with a nail gun.
Man, another part where it just looks like it hurts.
Yeah, and beats the shit out of him with a crowbar.
Dude, that's hard to watch too, man. There's a lot of hard to watch stuff in this movie.
Yeah, this whole sequence is like back to back, like brutal stuff, because she hits him with a nail gun a bunch of times. She grabs the crowbar and beats the crap out of him, and then the brother grabs a shotgun and the brother grabs a shotgun and blasts her with a shotgun.
Man. And then at some point she's like fighting with the brother.
Yes, they have like, I mean, I'm going over it very quickly, but they have like a fight in between and a little bit of a back and forth.
When does the nail gun come back into play? Because it happens twice.
I think she grabs it initially, and then he takes it and shoots her in the face, because she kind of like comes to at one point in it, and it was like, my face hurts. Why does my face hurt? Trying to trick him.
What was old buddy gonna do? Because that long hair guy starts laughing about something. What was he laughing at?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
like they have a discussion right before this that they, you know, he's trying to get the brother to like burn them. Like he wants to just burn them all up, and that's supposed to, you know, cleanse the possessions.
The long-haired dude wants to kill Mia, and the brother's like, no, there's no way we can do that, bro. I know she's a demon, but we can't kill her.
Yeah, he chickens out as he's like, you know, I think he like pours gas all over the place and like chickens out last. Oh, because she starts singing like a song from her childhood.
Weak sauce.
And yeah, he chickens out. So instead, he decides to bury her outside. He cuts up his girlfriend, I think, with a chainsaw, which I made it like a note on this that says chainsaw gas on the bottle of gas.
That's amazing. I don't even know if I caught that.
So he cuts her up, and I think he buries her too, and then buries Mia.
I love these movies because they do stuff like cut up girlfriends, and it's never actually spoken about. Like that wouldn't be traumatizing to a degree where you'd be in some kind of hospital.
Yeah, he cut up his girlfriend, no problem, pretty much.
He's like, she didn't swallow. I don't have no use for this. Oh man. And for anybody's watching, I was just kidding. All right. Good grief. The fact that I even have to say that is pretty dumb.
Yeah. Yep.
But
so he changes Mia for some reason. Like he changes her clothes and puts like a dress on her and then goes to bury her. I wrote that down too. I don't know why he did that.
I don't know why he did that either.
So like
reasons, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. So he buries her, and as he's burying her, like she's like taunting him and saying, you know, just weird, you know, demon shit, cursing at him and stuff. And you know, he just finishes burying her. And
is it Mia who's at the end of the movie?
Yes.
Okay. Because at this point,
so as he well, again, something else I skipped over. Like there's like a tree on fire that like lightning strikes it a little earlier in the movie.
Okay.
So when he finishes burying her, like the fire immediately goes out, and he digs her up.
Man, I feel like I haven't watched this movie in a year, and I watched it yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sorry I have to look at my notes, but
no, dude, I'm glad you have them up there. I can't believe I don't remember more of this. I just watched the movie.
That's kind of why I wrote it down. I mean, not necessarily that. I just wanted to have good talking points.
So at this point, we're probably only like 10 or 15 minutes till the end of the movie.
Yeah,
we're probably like 10, really.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the end here. Yeah, she revives after being buried, and then long hair guy, the nerdy, you know, stoner looking dude comes out. Yeah. And he's possessed. Oh yeah, they had like a fight in like a basement a little bit before that.
Okay, that's where I thought he started laughing, and I think the possession switched from her to him.
Yeah, like he goes down to get, I think, something. I can't remember exactly. I didn't write that part down. They go down to get something, and that's when he kind of dies and then gets possessed after a fight with them in the basement.
This shit is so crazy.
Yeah, and that's like, I started writing stuff down, and like I had to pause the movie because I was like, oh shit, like that was cool.
Dude, I do that a lot. Like I'm working on a Wrong Turn 2020 review. It's gonna be a long video. I'm doing that. I'm like pausing it. I'm writing down all the points. Yeah. I'm basically writing the whole plot down, and I'm gonna put in some clips and stuff. I'm working really hard on this one, so I hope it gets a little bit of attention from people. But yeah,
cool. So,
I'm thinking about doing that like once a month, do like a long form video, and then just do my regular videos throughout the month.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Okay, we get to them. He basically becomes the demonic one.
Yeah.
And then
so the brother like gets Mia to leave or just like stay outside, and he goes and he tries to like burn the entire cabin down with himself in it.
Oh, that's right.
And then that's when it starts just raining blood.
Yeah, all Slayer style.
Yes.
Dude, that's all I could think about the entire time that part was happening was Slayer.
Yeah. So then this is like the big like end fight sequence kind of when another demon crawls out of the ground and starts fighting with Mia. And she goes,
that's right. And a whole other entity comes into play.
Yeah, just like it never ends.
Good grief.
So Mia goes into the shed, gets the same chainsaw that has chainsaw gas written on the bottle, and and they have like another fight where she gets like pinned under the Jeep.
The car falls on her hand and she can't get it out.
Yeah, and she rips her arm off.
Yeah, I remember the car falling on her hand because that was rough, dude. She was like, I was like, uh-oh, here she goes.
Yeah.
And then she rips her arm off, and then that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie because it was so on the nose Ash, but it wasn't Ash.
Yeah.
Because she pulls out the chainsaw, and instead of like being all silly and like attaching it to her hand, she just like shoves her bloody stump up into the like handle of it. Honestly, much more realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my favorite part of the movie when she just pulls her arm off, grabs the chainsaw, like you said, and shoves it right into the demon's face. And
then she's like
slices it in half.
It. She's like, ah!
Yeah. Yeah, she goes to down and blood's going everywhere, and it's super awesome and gory.
Sorry if y'all can hear the baby in the background. He's partying right now.
That's all right.
But yeah, dude. So that's basically where the movie ends.
Yeah, I mean, she picks up the necklace off the ground that the brother had. And
yeah, that's right.
And pretty much after that, the credits roll. I didn't remember that they have an extra credits scene.
Damn it! I didn't either.
A post-credit scene. Yeah, I didn't realize that. But I just kind of left it running and went, oh shit.
So what happens? I didn't even watch it.
So Mia's like walking down the road by herself.
Okay.
And she gets picked up by a guy just driving a pickup truck, and like, oh shit, I'll bring you to the hospital.
Okay.
And then throws it in the back of the truck, and it like cuts to her face, and her eyes like light up.
Turn all yellow green again.
I don't remember them turning like yellow and like discolored, but she's like just like in the back, like with her eyes closed, and then just like perks up.
Nice.
So I'm assuming that's possessed. They just did. I kind of appreciate that they didn't make it super obvious.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, man. Whenever I watched this one, I forgot because okay. Now remember when I'm saying what I'm fixing to say that I'm separating this from the other property, okay? But I forgot how good this movie was, and so when I watched it the first time. Was like a week ago, and then when we had to push back a week, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm glad I did because I already had a hard enough time remembering the stuff that I remembered. But yeah, I forgot how good of a horror movie this really is. This is a fantastic gore movie. It's a fantastic possession movie. It's a fantastic cabin in the woods movie. I have a hard time getting over the name. I mean, I just do because the moment I hear the name, I think of something completely different. But I mean, very few films are perfect, and if that's the biggest knock on this, I'll just have to get over myself.
Yeah, I mean, without the original movies, this wouldn't exist, and
yes, very true.
Vice versa. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't, I guess, bug me as much about the whole Evil Dead tie-in. Because
it doesn't affect my grade. It just affects me when I start talking about it. It has to be brought up every time.
Yeah. Shit, what was I gonna say? Crap.
I'm sorry. Well, like, here's an example of what I'm talking about. Last weekend at the store, I was talking to somebody. I don't remember who it was. It was somebody that comes in frequently, and they said, "So, what are you doing on the show? How's the show going, or whatever?" And I said, "Well, they knew I started this channel, and I said, well, I'm doing." Because at this point, we still thought we were doing the show on Tuesday last week. I said, well, I got an episode of Horror Hangout podcast with my friend Chris from Shopcast. And they said, cool, what movie are y'all watching? And I said, we're doing Evil Dead 2013, and they said, "Oh, the remake," and I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Why'd you say it like that?" They're like, "Oh, you know," and I was like, "Have you seen it?" And they hadn't, and I was like, "Well, if you hadn't seen it, then you should definitely have a better attitude towards it." And they said, "Oh, is it good?" I said, "Well, it's you have to separate it." I said, "You have to.
Yeah.
If you can separate it, yes, it's a great movie." And I tried to get them to sit down and watch it with me at the store because I had a copy at the store. They didn't have time, but I did have a copy there, and I tried to get them to watch it. But yeah, man, I think this is a fantastic movie. I think it needs to be separated. It needs to be put up on its own merit, because if it is, it'll earn the appropriate reaction and grade from people. And I think that's important, because do I think it's a better movie than the Thing prequel? Yes. I just don't think it goes with the property as well. So that's what makes me want to remove it. Because with the Thing prequel, I think they go together really well, even though it's not quite as good a movie.
Yeah.
But it goes together seamlessly. This one
is a prequel versus a remake,
and it really works well, you know.
Yeah.
But
it leads right into
that's the decision you have to make. Do you want to make a remake? Do you want to make a prequel, a sequel? And they chose to do remake, and I think, and that's where like Halloween Kills. We're watching it in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's a direct sequel, and I think okay, that's probably pretty smart. Terrifier 2, it's a sequel. Let's see what else is coming out that's like a long time removed from the originals.
I mean, we just talked about Candyman.
Candyman
a second ago.
Candyman's a good example too, because while it's a divisive movie and I don't think it's perfect, I did give it a pretty reasonable score. I enjoyed the movie, and it went well enough with the first movie. A lot of people say it doesn't go with it enough because it's got differences, and I'm like, look, dude, you're talking 25, 30 years later, a completely different creative team. They did a pretty good job matching it up. Yeah. You can't ask for much more than what you got. I like the fact that the girl got to wear the chainsaw in this movie. I like the fact that there was no ash. The more we're talking about, the more I do appreciate the CG work. I have to just admit that I was wrong about that. Dude. I have no problem being wrong about shit, man, because I speak from emotion, and I speak my thoughts. I don't try to like sugarcoat it. It's just what I'm thinking. If I need to change my mind I don't know, change what I said, whatever. If I have to, fix something, that doesn't bother me, man. The more we're talking about, the more I'm realizing that I think I just had it wrong from the get-go. I was looking at it from the wrong vantage point, and you were saying like I was saying I was irritated that they did CG at all, and your point was, yeah, but they did it well with it melded with the practical so well, and I was like, oh, I hadn't really looked at it like that, I was just looking at it from the point that they used it, and that's where it stopped. I was like, oh, well, it's stupid. They shouldn't have used it.
Yeah, but, you can definitely have that thought. You're like, nah, they use CG. I wish they wouldn't use CG.
And I stand behind that, but that prohibited me from looking at it in a way I could enjoy it. So I have to be able to be like, okay, yeah, I still wish they hadn't used it. Had I been given the choice, I wouldn't have gone that direction. But the fact that they did it well. I have to say I was wrong about that. And this movie is, even with all the stuff that I've said that's probably going to be perceived as negative, I'm probably going to give a shockingly high grade to this movie because I think it's pretty great.
Yeah, I have a very, very high grade for it. And what I was going to say earlier was I think it does a really good job of separating itself from the originals on its own. Like you said, it takes the chainsaw scene, and it's got the book and the cabin and the hatch, but it's got new different characters. It's got, not interesting characters, but it's got decent. No, but
how interesting can they be with this scenario?
Yeah, they're perfectly fine,
serviceable.
And yeah, I think if they would have gone beat for beat like Evil Dead 1, people have gone, well, you just fucking remade the movie. Like,
that's true.
Of course it's a good movie. You remade a good movie, but
so I will say this. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything that I had written down. But when I was watching the movie, I do know that let's see here. I put licking that razor blade, no dice. I will say this. My main gripe is the title of the movie. I wish they had called it something like The Necronomicon, which is like tied to it enough to where you're like, okay, I see what you're doing here, but it's not Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really have a lot to complain about in the movie, I think. I mean,
spooky
I'm being
cult.
honest. Like, I think I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah.
After that, I think my complaints are limited to almost none.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you can have that thought and then go, you know what? But that was pretty good though.
It's funny because the more we're talking about this, and I know recency bias is a thing. I've been really working on my top 10 horror movie list lately because I want to make another video at the end of the month and do that on Halloween. I think this one's inching its way into my top 10, dude. Like, I think it has to. Like, I think you made enough of a case, and I'm willing to listen. Well, no, that's the thing. Look, dude, one thing about me that is very different from Josh is that I'm willing to go, huh? Oh shit, I didn't think about that, and then just completely change my point of view on something. And I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying, like, that's where we differ on how we operate. I'm able to just be like, fuck, I didn't even think about that, and just completely change my tune. And I think on this movie, I think it warrants that. I think I already liked it a lot. Let's not get it twisted. When you mentioned this movie, I was pretty quick to say, hell yeah, let's do this. Like, I liked the movie. I just didn't realize I liked it as much as I did. And that's funny because that's exactly what happened with the original.
Yeah, and I did the same thing. I remember liking this movie. Went, man, I haven't watched this since probably the theaters.
Yeah.
And bought a copy and went, holy crap, like, I don't remember this movie being this awesome.
Yeah, dude. Now I got to figure out where it goes on my top 10 list because it's a really freaking good movie. Now, it ain't going to be top 1 or 2 because those are designated for the 2 best horror movies ever made. And we will, and it ain't The Exorcist, folks.
We should
that's
know
one that I'll probably never turn my mind on, dude. I fucking hate that movie.
Yeah, we should know what those top 2 are at this point.
My Little Ponies and Masters of the Universe, folks.
Oh man.
Man, I can't wait for Scream 5.
Yeah, it looks awesome,
dude. It actually does look really good. I was kind of worried, and Neve Campbell, boy, does she hold up well. My goodness,
she really does. Like, she's like 10 years younger, I think, than Courtney Cox.
And Courtney Cox, I mean, for all the work she had, I'm actually kind of surprised at how nice she still looks.
Yeah, I mean, but she definitely had some work.
Well, she made a mistake when she was younger and had some work she probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
She was always so pretty. I didn't understand why she did it in the first place.
Yeah.
She hit because she was like a little older than everybody else, and you could tell that it was getting to her. Yeah, I think everybody else was like in their late 20s. She was like almost 40.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just after Friends, I mean, she probably didn't know what to do with herself.
Yeah.
And, you know, just wanted to try to stay relevant, and didn't quite work out, but
well,
cool.
I'm happy for her that she's doing something. I'm happy to see her in this movie. I'm glad David Arquette's in it. Anyways, let's create Evil Dead first, then we can talk about whatever we want. I got a number in my head, and I will be honest about it. If you say you got the same number, I'll tell you it's the same number, or if it's different. Right. What do you got?
9, like an easy 9.
I was actually going to go 9.5.
Really?
Yeah, because I was at 9 when we started talking, and then the CP thing. Yeah, because look, dude, my main gripe had nothing to do with the movie. It only has to do with the name.
Yeah. I
admit that that's silly. I'm okay with that. It's just my opinion on it. But as far as like giving it an actual critique and enjoyment level, how do I say lower than that, really? Because I mean, have I said anything bad about the movie itself? Not a thing.
No.
Other than some of it being so deadgum brutal that I was like, man, I forgot it was this. You know, I like that kind of stuff. But like,
yeah, no, yeah, that's what I love about it.
But I was like, man, I forgot it was so. It's one of the more brutal movies. It's like Tusk is one of the more messed up movies that I've ever seen. And people always go, "Oh, that's more messed up than that's on your like top 5." I'm like, bro, you don't even understand how messed up that movie really is. And then they'll talk about something like a Serbian film, and I'm like, no, dude, that movie is a snooze fest, bro. It is boring. It's not that. Tusk is messed up, and I'm like, on this one, I just didn't remember it being that. I don't remember where I was going to correlate the two, but I had something I was going for it. I just dropped it. Anyways, this movie is the same kind of thing where I was like, I didn't remember it being that brutal. And I'm going to have to tell people like, no, dude, you want a brutal movie? Go watch this movie. It is a brutal. And I would love to see who says no, it's not, and why. Because I think this matches up with I Saw the Devil. This goes tit for tat with Ichi the Killer. Well, it's more realistic than Ichi the Killer, but it's a different movie. But it goes tit for tat with it, I think.
It's bloodier for sure. I mean, I think Ichi the Killer is it's a good movie, but I think it's kind of tamed over the years. Like when it
I think that's true too.
It was kind of like, oh my god, this movie's fucked up. But now it's like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up. But
have you seen a Serbian film?
No, I have not.
I'm making a video about that movie just so I can make people. I want to see what people say in the comments of that video. Is really what it is, because the movie, I saw it a long time ago, or I didn't even see all of it. I saw most of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I had a chance to buy a copy, I bought it because I remembered it being really messed up. And I think that two things happened. I think since I watched it the first time, or watched most of it, whatever, I've watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bloody, gory horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Some that are really, honestly, just tasteless. They're just not worth a shit. Well, I mean, I've seen some movies that like I'll never watch a second time. They were just like, oh, that's stupid. It doesn't have any. There's no entertainment value. It's all just look at what I can do that's gross, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what this movie is. It's a look what I can do that's gross movie because it's got a lot of shock value, right? They don't really show much of anything in the movie though, dude. You can talk about whatever you want. It doesn't make the movie gnarly. What makes the movie gnarly is doing it. Like you can talk about, I don't want to even say it because I don't want to get flagged, but like you can talk about like things to do with underage people, you know what I'm saying? And it's nasty, disgusting conversation. But if that's where it stops, you're like, okay, yeah, they talked about doing something. It was a threat. It was an idle threat at that point. And then if you go, yeah, but in this movie, dude, they show it. You're like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to watch that necessarily, but that's where things get messed up.
Yeah.
In a Serbian film, I think it lives on this like weird hype lore that it's worse than it really is. I honestly want you and Josh to watch it just so I can hear if you guys are agreeing with me on this. Maybe I'm just tripping, but it sure didn't affect me the way I thought it was going to.
Yeah, I've been curious about it, but I've never been sure I really wanted to go watch it because, I hear it's one of the most, screwed up movies of all time.
Well, I'll tell you this. I told Jonathan, you remember Jonathan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I told him the premise of the movie, and he was like, yo, I'm not watching this, dude. And I was like, all right, well, how about this? Because he wanted to watch something messed up. I was like, we'll put it on. The moment you get uncomfortable, we'll turn it off. And he was like, you promise? And I was like, yes. And he was like, because I don't believe you. And I was like, I promise. And I know to nobody's surprise, he thought I was playing a joke on him. But dude, we got through the whole movie, and both of us were like, huh. And I said, man, and I told him, I said, I remember it being way worse than that. And he goes, do you really? I said, yeah, I think the movie gets its reputation from people's memories of what they talk about versus what they do. Because they don't do a whole lot of, I mean, dude, let's not get it twisted, dude. The subject matter of the movie is disgusting. It's a gnarly movie. It's just not, I think this movie is definitely more vulgar, this movie is definitely more gory. Vulgar is the right word for a Serbian film. It's a vulgar film, but it's
just in a different way. Yeah,
it's a snooze fest, bro. Like I'll let you borrow my copy, and I just want to see what you have to say about it. Like, there's a movie, Megan is Missing. I know you know what that is because you got me a copy of it.
Yeah,
that movie has the single most unnerving ending I've ever seen in a film, ever. Mm-hmm. People that have seen that movie are probably going to argue with me about this and that. You might even bring up a movie I haven't seen yet, which if that's the case, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it. But I don't want to tell anybody what happens at the end of this movie, and I'll only tell you if you want me to, and I won't do it on film. But like, it's got this ending where when it happens, I was like, that's the end of the movie? And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. Like, it's not particularly what's the word? Graphic. It's not particularly graphic, but the scenario is so insane where you're like, what's fixing to happen? And then you're like, wait, did they show that? And then it keeps going and going and going, and right when it ends, you're like, oh wow, like, huh, can't believe somebody made a movie like that. Like, the ending is bananas, dude. The whole movie's pretty mediocre, but the ending makes it so much better. The ending wraps it up in a bow. You're like, it's kind of like what's the one where the religious movie that I liked a lot, but only because of the end of it?
Saint Maud.
It's kind of like Saint Maud, different movie, but like, you're like, okay, this is all right, I guess. But the end, you're like, what? Yeah, this is worse than that movie. The ending is much, much worse, much, much, much worse. But what I'm getting at is like the whole movie, you're kind of like, all right, I get it. This is pretty bad. Okay, yeah, the scenario is pretty disgusting. It's pretty gnarly. At the end of it, you're like, hold on. I didn't think that the envelope was going to go straight off the table. Like, they pushed that envelope right off the edge of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, 9 and a 9.5. I think Evil Dead might have just worked this way into one of them modern day classics, dude. I think I
Yeah.
just. It's funny. Sometimes I need somebody to talk with me about a movie to really let me soak it in and like come to terms on how I feel about it, even.
Yeah.
Because I can watch
Yeah.
a movie 5 times and then you could point something out and it changes the whole movie, you know?
Yeah, I made a top 10 list before I watched this because we had talked about it a couple of weeks ago, something like that. So I had made one on Letterboxd, and this one's pretty close to creeping in there.
Man, I would love to see how much of your top 10 list I wouldn't even put in my top 50.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably have someone's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, and then you'd probably.
I'm sure you have plenty that I would put in my top 10, but there's got to be a couple that I'd be like, what? Nah, not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I don't think I have any like very wild.
Is The Exorcist on your top 10?
No, sir.
Oh, bro, bravo, man. I just don't understand I understand the appreciation for the movie. I think the story is really interesting, but the execution is so boring.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that being pretty boring as a kid, but high school age probably.
There's a couple of parts of the movie that are really great, but like 85% of the movie I could just do without. And like I think that the circumstances of which the movie was filmed, because there's a lot of stuff that happened during the filming of that movie that make it more notorious, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that stuff is what people remember fondly of this movie. They don't just think of the movie, because I can't imagine anybody getting scared from that movie. Like the fact that people tell me, oh yeah, that movie used to scare me to death. I'm like, how? Like nothing about it is scary to me. But you know.
Yeah, I mean,
I do own it. I do want to rewatch it, but every time I go to watch it, I'm like, I'm not watching this. This is so boring.
It's pretty long, isn't it?
It's very long. Or you know what? I say that it might be like 90 minutes, and it just feels like 3 hours.
I don't think so. I think it's at least over 2, but I could be wrong on that.
I was thinking 2 exactly almost, but we're about to find out. Oh dang, you're right. 2 hours 12 minutes, dude. Okay. See, I can't even get behind that, dude.
It's not ridiculously long, but it is a little long. And we talked about this when we watched Strange Days, that was so ridiculously long. I mean, Exorcist is a good bit older than it, but still, I feel like movies like that they kind of tended to make them a little overly longer.
Yeah. Well, like Rosemary's Baby, dude. Like, I don't think it's a good movie. Like, it's not a bad movie, but it's very boring. Like, but people tend to really, really like that movie a lot. But it falls into the same kind of subgenre with The Exorcist.
Yeah. So I'll go through my list real quick. I think you really only have something to say about like 2, maybe 3 of them.
Okay.
So I got The Thing at the top.
At number 1?
Yeah. So I'm going favorite.
Start with 10,
down.
dude.
Okay. We'll go back. So 10 is Devil's Backbone.
Really?
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah.
That's not even a horror movie.
Like, I debated with a couple of them actually. Like,
okay,
I kind of wanted to put Pan's Labyrinth in it, but I kind of almost feel that's more of like a fantasy movie.
I don't think anything he's done is horror.
Yeah, like kind of not really. I think just this is maybe his most.
You know, with that being said, it's your list.
A ghost story. Yeah.
There's enough about it that's horror. I mean, I would put like Shaun of the Dead as a horror movie, and some people wouldn't agree with that. So it's subjective.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ghost movie. It's not a particularly scary movie. It's
Devil's Backbone's the one that's the kids at the orphanage.
Yeah, they're in like Spain, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. And they're keeping all these kids at an orphanage, and
that was a weird movie. I need to rewatch some of his stuff because after watching his latest one, I have a newfound respect for his film. I do. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to like Pan's Labyrinth regardless, but I do want to watch that one again. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So at number 9, I have Possession. Which did you ever watch that? With Sam Neill.
Shit, I don't think I did. Hold on.
Some German.
That's the one you got. You got me on Blu-ray, right?
Yes.
No, I don't think I ever watched it.
I rewatched that like twice after I originally watched it. I really like that movie. It's not another one that's not like super exciting, and it's kind of a slow burn a little bit, but just really cool. It's got a lot of cool elements to it. So number 8, I have 28 Days Later, which I still really like, and I think is probably one of my favorite, or it is my favorite zombie movie.
That doesn't even get on my zombie top 10, I don't think.
Not top 10 at least? I would think somewhere in there. No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. This one, I
like the movie a lot, though. Like I'm not saying this. I do enjoy that movie a lot, actually.
Yeah. This one, you're gonna the Witch at number 7.
I don't agree with that, but I'm starting to understand, like, because I've watched it 2 times now, and I'm starting to like. I don't really enjoy it yet. I still need to watch it another time or two, which I think people are gonna think that's crazy because I'm like, I don't really like it, but I need to. But I think that it's like drinking beer, man. I know people that didn't like beer, and then 6 months later, that's what they love to drink because they drank it and they liked it. They acquired a taste for it. So like,
yeah.
The Witch, I know that Josh really likes that movie, and I know you really like it, and it makes me want to give it more of an opportunity to get into my palate and really, if I watch it one more time and I still just hate it, because at first I hated it. I don't hate it now. I don't understand. I don't find it scary or creepy at all.
I find, I mean, not the whole movie, but the end of it is one of the creepiest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, see, I don't even understand how that gets...
Writing this list, I think I discovered I like demon possession movies. So like Possession,
sure.
The Witch.
Yeah.
I mean, we just watched Evil Dead and talked about that.
Yeah.
Another one on my list is another possession movie.
Well, The Witch, I get it. I even got a Black Phillip pop just because I thought it was funny that I would have that.
Black Phillip's awesome.
Okay, so what's number 7?
So that was number 7.
Oh, 7, sorry.
Number 6, I Saw the Devil.
That's in my top 10.
Number 5 is Alien, the first one.
I don't think that one's in my top 10.
Yeah, we talked about this not too long ago. Like I was the lone one that likes the first.
I like Alien. I like Aliens better than Alien, but dude, not by much. They're a great pair.
They're both great.
Yeah.
So number 4 is Halloween, the original, of course. 3, The Void.
Hell yeah. I think The Void's in my top 5 as well.
Number 2 is my last demon possession movie is Hereditary.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that movie that much. It's okay. I like it, but I don't get all the hubbub about it. I'm just like, yeah, it was a good movie, but it wasn't anything that I thought was spectacular necessarily.
Yeah, that was one that creeped me out a pretty good bit. Like movies don't really creep me out a lot, and
I don't know what it is about me, man. That movie didn't creep me out even at all.
Yeah.
But I got legitimately frightened when I watched you're gonna laugh your ass off at this, dude.
Boss Baby.
Paranormal Activity. The first one of those.
It's good. That's a good movie.
That scared the crap out of me, man. I couldn't sleep at all for like 2 days.
It's got some really good creepy moments. It's been a while since I've seen it, but that's an underrated.
The first one of those was a really good movie. Like,
yeah,
people can say whatever they want, dude. I'm like, you don't remember it right then, because when that movie came out, it blew people's minds, dude.
Yep.
It's just like the Blair Witch Project. That movie scared me too because it felt real.
Yeah.
Now, decades later, I'm like, okay, whatever. But dude, that movie was really good when it came out. Man, I don't even want to tell. I'll tell you off air some of my top 10. Some of them are on your list though.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Who knows how many people made it this far in this video?
Whatever. I figured I'd throw them out real quick. I know you'll save yours for your own video.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a video because I'm gonna go do it in order. But we all know that Scream and Terrifier are in there. The Void is definitely in there. I think I'm gonna have to put this movie in the top 10, bro. The Evil Dead, man. It was, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, man, I don't have any way to justify not putting it in there based on my criteria of what I like. Even if you use my criteria, okay, I want splatterfest stuff. I want kind of like over the top gore. Okay, where did this movie fail in that?
No, it's got it.
So and I mean,
that's what I really love about it, is because I know you tend to go to a little more to the B movie route. And I enjoy those too, but yeah. I mean, I would prefer something a little more serious, and that's what this is. It's got a few silly moments that I legit laughed out loud, like the freaking chainsaw gas can.
That's awesome.
But it's a fairly serious movie that's super bloody and gory and violent.
Dude, I think The Void is just, man, it's a modern day masterpiece, dude.
I love that movie.
I'll tell you what, The Thing has made its way to my top 10. It didn't used to be anywhere close to it.
Yeah, and that was my number one. I started.
Yeah, the more I watch it with you guys, the more I watch it over and over and over, the more I realize how much I think I like at the time with the Evil Dead. I just didn't understand the movies. I liked them okay, but I was wanting something else when I watched them. So when I got what I got, I didn't really get it. But with The Thing, I really think I was just bucking the trends. I just didn't want to like it because everybody else likes it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, look, dude, I'm okay with admitting that that's how my brain works. I don't necessarily understand it any more than anybody else does, but I'm okay with it, man. It is what it is. It's just how my brain works. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. But I think for the longest time, I really was like, The Thing is also, I put it in the same category as The Exorcist. It was just boring. But watching you guys talk about it, especially Josh, dude, I'll give Josh this, man. When he gets
this one's all
excited about a movie, he gets me excited about movies a lot because he gets so fucking excited about them. And The Thing is one that he literally like showed me why I should like it. But it said that he wasn't being like pushy about it. Like some people get like, oh, you need to watch this and you need to like it. Josh was like, no, this is why it's so great. Yeah. And, you know, look, dude, we don't see eye to eye on everything about movies. As a matter of fact, we see eye to eye on very little when it comes to movies. But I always listen to him. Y'all are my best friends. It doesn't matter if we agree on something. I'm going to listen at least one time. Yeah. I don't know what it was. I guess it was just the right time for me to watch it again. And I watched it, and Carissa watched it with me, and she really enjoyed it. And I was like, fuck, I really like that. Honestly, I didn't even want to tell him. I was like, I don't want to give the satisfaction of knowing that he was so right.
That's what he's doing with Terrifier. He's watched it like 5 times already. He just doesn't want to tell you.
Oh god.
He's gonna watch this. So I say that knowing he's gonna watch.
But man, dude, I don't even fucking. If he tells me he hates that movie, I'm literally gonna just act like I didn't hear what he said because I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
What else would be on my top 10? I haven't made my top 10 list in a long while. I think the reason I'm remaking my list is because a lot of things have changed in the last 2 years. I haven't made a list in 2 years. I also think Color Out of Space is on my top 10.
Ooh, yeah, I thought about that one for a minute. It's fairly close to me.
It's so good. I watch that movie a lot. Like I watch it all the time. Like,
yeah. Great movie.
I've started to kind of not necessarily like, but appreciate Mandy a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it yet, but have you seen the house that Jack built?
No, I've heard a bit about it, but I haven't seen
buddy, you want a fucked up movie, man. You and Josh need to watch that one. I'd like to get y'all's feedback on it. I actually seriously would like to hear y'all's. You know what? I might make that one of our picks right back in November.
I think Josh it might be another movie, but I think I said that's like one he doesn't want to watch. Like he like
really?
Legit didn't. I mean, I might be thinking of something like a Serbian film.
Well, dude, Josh is gonna have to fucking get over that shit because I'm telling you, man, one thing that drives me nuts is his whole like, yeah, but I don't want to watch it. Okay, dude, if I based my opinion on our show every week on what I did and didn't want to watch, I would never watch anything that either of y'all pick.
I would at least give it a try. You know, I mean,
well, no, that's my point. Is that, dude, we're just watching it together. It doesn't matter if you think you're gonna like it or not. Yeah, but I know I'm not gonna like it. I don't care. Watch it anyways, dude. That's the whole point.
Is that a Lars von Trier movie? Because I think so. Because I think he said that about Lars von Trier. Like he just doesn't want to watch, which I understand because he makes movies that are just shocking for shocking's sake. And
yeah. I'm talking mostly about The Fanatic. It still pisses me off that he wouldn't watch that movie just to hang out with me. Like it literally genuinely upset me that he was such a prick about it. That I just wanted to be like, look, I know you're not going to enjoy the movie. That's not the point of watching this. The point is, it's a silly, bad movie. Like the Von Trier thing, I can understand not wanting to watch that because there's a lot of like sacrilegious stuff that I just won't watch because I'm not into that stuff. So I wouldn't actually make him watch that movie. But like with The Fanatic, it really, really bothered me because, well, it's not about whether or not you're going to like it. It's about hanging out with me watching it so I can watch you be like rolling your eyes and shit. Like that's the whole point.
Well, see, but that sounds fun to you.
Yes. That's my point. Is it's fun for your friend. Like would you not do something that Josh asked you to do that you thought maybe you weren't going to enjoy it, but you knew he was going to enjoy it?
Most likely.
Yes, I would
Depends.
too. That's my point. Well, it's not like I'm asking him to go out and get a fucking dick piercing.
Yeah.
It's a 90-minute movie that you can watch and then immediately go watch something else that you fucking love. It has a little to do with the fact that he's not like the movie. It's just I thought that he had, I don't know. I'm not going to say it because it doesn't sound like what I actually mean. Like it sounds more harsh than what I meant. So I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But I just thought he like, I don't know. I thought we were better friends than that, honestly. Because like, I don't question like, okay, you want to do something dumb? Like, I guess whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care, dude. Yeah. If Josh was like, hey, I want to go see Lamb and I want y'all to go with me, and I just want y'all to I want us all to go hang out. I am like 95% sure, not 100%, but I'm like 95% sure I'm not gonna like that movie, and then I'm gonna be bored, right? I don't care. I would still pay for the ticket and go get something to eat at the theater and waste all my money on it because I'd like to go hang out with my friends. Yeah. That's my point. Is he's missing the entire point. The entire point is that I'm his friend and I'm asking him to do something just because I think it would be silly. It has nothing to do with whether or not he's gonna like it. I don't care if he likes it. That's not the point.
It would definitely be silly.
Yeah, well, that's it. Have you watched it yet?
No, I haven't.
God damn it! All right, Chris, me and you might have to watch it because I know that I think you're going to actually appreciate the movie. I do think, and I don't want to tell Josh this because he'll never agree with me about this, but I do think there is a small percentage chance that if he watches it, that he's like, okay, I get it, but he'll never admit it.
Yeah, I mean, a movie can be bad and still enjoyable.
Dude, I mean, look,
that's like
I don't agree with Chris Stuckman on anything really, but he was dead on with this movie. Like, it was like, it's so horrible and it's glorious, and I'm like, that's what it is. It's, dude, the whole time I watched it, I couldn't believe it was John Travolta. I was like, this is so weird. Although I thought, like, if they reversed the roles and they made John Travolta the famous guy in the movie and the other guy the stalker, it would make more sense, right? But then it wouldn't make more sense. Because the whole fun of the movie is that John Travolta is this really famous person in real life, and he's playing like a mentally handicapped stalker with a bowl cut. It's amazing, dude. I didn't know that Fred Durst directed that movie until after I'd seen it. It made it so much better.
Speaking of Fred Durst, have you listened to that new Limp Bizkit song?
The Dad Vibes?
Yes.
I did have a reaction to it when it came out.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, that song's awesome.
Oh shit! Like I was kind of expecting you to do it, and I didn't see it, and I meant to bring it up, but
bro, I'm a legitimate Limp Bizkit fan, like legit, not ironic. Like I actually like that band. I owned all their CDs at some point, but I still own their first two.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I definitely had the first two for sure.
I hate Korn. I hate Deftones. I like Limp Bizkit is exactly the kind of movies that I like. Limp Bizkit is the Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 of new metal.
That makes sense. It all makes sense now.
Right?
But, yeah, no, I listened to that song and immediately thought of you.
Yes.
I'm surprised I never saw the reaction. I'm gonna go back and try to watch it.
Yeah, dude, I was like, what? And I listened. Now it was like a 2-minute song. Is it okay? Yeah,
it was short.
Song. Man, I love Josh so much. I feel like that guy doesn't ever have any fun. Like
he does.
The day, yeah, but his idea of fun is frowning in the garage smoking a cigar.
Yeah, I mean, y'all I think have very opposite ideas of fun.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. Like the day he told me he didn't think farts were funny, it took me like an hour to realize he wasn't kidding.
He just kept farting over and over again and he wasn't laughing.
No, but that would have been amazing. I don't remember how it came up, but I said something about dick and fart jokes or something, and he goes, yeah, dude, I don't think farts are funny. And I was like, yeah, you do. Like, I fully didn't even, I was like, what do you mean you don't think farts are funny? Like, I just couldn't, my brain was like, broken. Like, he broke my brain. That's what he did. He broke my brain. I'm a simpleton, guys. You know this. But, no, man, I think the world is such a gnarly place. That's where I look at things at. I look at it from, like, the world's so just gnarly, dude. It's fucked up, man. And I can't afford to take everything so damn seriously. He's a real serious dude. I mean, admittedly, he had to grow up at a real young age. I understand how he got to where he's at, because I oftentimes forget he's a full decade younger than me. But
yeah. I mean, we've all lived very different lives. So.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna laugh until I die because of the shit I did. Y'all wouldn't even understand, bro. Like, I don't even understand it, to be honest with you. Dude, I think back on things like I was talking to my mom the other day. As a matter of fact, let's wrap up this video. Let's let everybody go. Thank you for watching this with us, guys. If you stuck around this long, dude, you're a, well, motherfucking trooper, first off. But second, thank you so much. Let us know in the comments what you think about these movies. What are your top 10 horror movies? What do you think about Evil Dead? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you think it shouldn't be called Evil Dead? What about Necronomicon, like I thought? Otherwise, I got more Horror Hangout, the podcast, coming to you as soon as I can get them filmed. And we'll have horror movie reviews, top 10 lists, and all that jazz coming as soon as I can get them all done. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to everyone else. And go fuck yourself.